It should be against the law to have to write an essay on such a super sailorific sunshiny day.
Let's take a look at 14 mistakes that you might have missed in episodes from Season 2 of SpongeBob. You don't want to miss these, so watch closely and see if you can spot them. Now let's dive in.
Come on, pencil. Make words. Gary!
Number 1. The secret box.
Inside this very box is the most secret-y secret in all of secretdom, and I am its sole witness.
First, we'll be looking at mistakes from the secret box. In this episode, Patrick has acquired a secret box that he's quite fond of, driving SpongeBob crazy.
SpongeBob, what do you think you're doing?
Patrick, I must know the secret!
In order to figure out what's so great about his secret box, SpongeBob goes on a mission.
I'm gonna find out what's in that secret box!
Throughout the episode, there are some mistakes here and there, and we've actually already seen one. Did you notice it?
Inside this very box is the most secret-y secret in all of secretdom.
If you watch closely, the freckles on SpongeBob's face duplicate for just a second whenever he's making different expressions as Patrick talks. It's very subtle and an easy mistake to make when SpongeBob is making so many different confused faces.
Never! And to think we joined the Best Friends Forever Club. Listen up, SpongeBob Secret Stealer Pants!
After SpongeBob and Patrick fight over the box, there are two mistakes that occur back to back. You might have noticed when Patrick says, "Best Friends Forever Club," his mouth isn't syncing very well with the words and seems a little off. Next, when Patrick points SpongeBob's own arm back at him, it switches from a right arm to a left arm. If you watch the direction of the thumb when Patrick pulls the arm off, versus when he points it at SpongeBob, you'll see that it's not in the right place. When he's pointing the arm at SpongeBob, the thumb should be visible from the audience's perspective, but instead, we're looking at the pinky finger.
Oh, what do you know? You're a snail.
In this scene, the mistake is pretty obvious. Squidward's house sits in between SpongeBob and Patrick's houses in every episode. We even see it right here. But for some reason, when SpongeBob is sneaking over to Patrick's house, it's just gone. Number 2, Squid on strike.
Going on strike! We're going on strike! I still don't know what strike means. No! Squidward! You didn't tell me I was gonna get fired!
Next on our list is Squid on strike, where Squidward, fed up with Mr. Krabs' ridiculous bill and obsession with money, convinces SpongeBob to go on strike with him. And once again, we've already seen a mistake in this episode. You might have spotted it.
No! Sorry.
Behind Squidward and SpongeBob, in both of these scenes, where the chum bucket usually sits is, well, nothing. It's not there. Usually Plankton's restaurant, where guests only go when they are not happy with the Krusty Krab, is in walking distance for upset guests. But not in this episode.
This is a picket sign. Krusty Krab unfair.
We see this sign a few times throughout the episode, including in a dream Squidward has of his and SpongeBob's future.
Squidward! 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 Squidward!
If you keep an eye on the sign, you'll see that it changes up a little bit. Whenever Squidward is holding it up, the first word is Krusty, but when he is holding it down and SpongeBob is circling him, it says Krabs instead.
I will restore the working man to his rightful glory!
Whenever SpongeBob is on his way to dismantle the Krusty Krab, the sky has a slight glow to it, like the sun is either just now rising or setting. However, when he enters the Krusty Krab, the sky outside is dark and stays that way while he's inside. Number 3, Graveyard Shift.
Welcome to the night shift.
Next up is Graveyard Shift. In this episode, Mr. Krabs decides to keep the Krusty Krab open during the night in order to make more money.
It'll be just like a sleepover!
And just like a sleepover, you gotta have scary stories.
You mean you've never heard the story of the hash-slinging slasher?
But anyways, let's take a look at some of the mistakes that happen throughout this episode. Keep an eye out for them, and for the hash-slinging slasher. This first mistake is kind of funny because it's so bad and it happens so many times, but in different ways. Watch the galley grub sign in the back.
So long, suckers! I've got a hot date with a little lady, and her name is Clarinet.
Are you ready to rock, Squidward?
You'll see that in the first one, it's spelt G-A-L-L-Y, and in the second one, G-A-L-L-A-Y. And those are both incorrect. Here is what it's supposed to look like. G-A-L-L-E-Y is how it's supposed to be spelt. But want to know something even funnier? Look at the order here sign next to it. Yep, now that one is misspelt. Instead of H-E-R-E, which is what it is throughout most of the episode, it is spelt H-E-A-R. Gotta love those homophones. Another mistake that occurs in this episode has to do with the signs. Sometimes they are there, but in others they are missing. Like in these scenes.
Spatula hand.
This episode has a lot of mistakes like this, where things disappear then reappear. Like this object, for instance.
Are you ready to rock, Squidward?
Then he exits the bus and crosses the street.
At the start of the episode, the register isn't there. Yet when Squidward starts to tell his scary story, it appears. Also, while telling his story, something on Squidward disappears.
There will be nobody there. And finally, the hash-slinging slasher arrives in the ghost of the bus that ran him over.
During the close-up of Squidward speaking, the wrinkles on his forehead disappear. When shown from far away, they return to their rightful place. Number 4, procrastination.
Come on, pencil. Make words.
Last but not least is procrastination. This very relatable episode follows SpongeBob as he tries to write an essay, but keeps getting distracted by everything. While SpongeBob is struggling to focus on his work, there are some mistakes made along the way.
And now, pencil, get ready to do your stuff. Because here we go.
Whenever the clock is first shown, it reads 4:55. But when it zooms in, the time has changed. Now it reads 3:55, an hour behind what it was just seconds ago. If only time moved backwards like that in real life.
Hop, ho, hop, ho, hop, ho, hop, ho.
In this scene, you can see SpongeBob's left arm clearly. However, we can only see the sleeve of his right arm. You should be able to see at least just a little bit of his right arm, but it, like so many other things, has disappeared. For most of the episode, we see this eclectic lamp on SpongeBob's desk.
I am about to write the greatest essay of all time. I can't write with all these eraser shavings all over my paper.
However, later in the episode, when SpongeBob is locked out of his house, a candle is shown instead. But maybe we can give this one a pass, considering SpongeBob is having a nightmare, and even Gary isn't himself.
Time's up, SpongeBob.
But that's all for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe. Then click the video on screen to watch our newest video. We'll see you there.
Squidward told me to yell at people.
Then you must be SpongeBob SquarePants!
Yes?